Goss Island is brought to you by F&F, Fashion at Tesco. F&F at Tesco is your one-stop shop this summer season, with versatile pieces and wardrobe essentials to dress the whole family for a day out, a day at the beach, or a barbecue in the back garden.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 1 of Goss Island with our brand new host, Alan Cawley.
Hi Ollie.
Are you happy to be here?
Like, this is over the moon for this show. You know I'm obsessed with
Yes.
Love Island, like fanatic to say the least.
Yeah.
So like to be doing something like this with Goss is just phenomenal.
I'm so excited because I've been following your commentary for so long, and at first were you just doing it to mess with your friends? Because I don't even think you knew how big it was going to get, that you started getting thousands and thousands of followers literally for the commentary.
Oh, completely. Like, sure, I started off, only had a couple of thousand followers, and it's just mostly the mates back home in Laois following. So it was, Jesus, 5 years ago I think I started.
Wow.
And it's just putting up a few stories, taking the piss,
Yeah.
and it kind of just snowballed from there. And then every season I get more and more followers from
Yeah.
it. Like, so I've a few kind of Love Island fanatics following me now, and if I take a day off,
They're not happy.
no, they're not happy.
I know, I remember being at an event with you for a live screening and there wasn't enough Wi-Fi and you were like, I have to go home.
Oh, Scarborough.
It was like
Yeah.
so important. The thing about your commentary as well that I love, that I think is rare, is like you're not PC about it. Like you're
No.
very honest. If you think someone's being an asshole, you say it. If you think someone's being fake, you say it. So is it important to you to stay really honest through your commentary?
Completely. Like, I like to take the piss. Like, I'm a bit light-hearted as a person, so like, yeah, I don't like to take life too seriously.
Yeah.
And like, I do it in a way, I'm not being kind of overtly rude or like really going in on people.
Yeah.
Like, taking the piss. Like, if you're signing up for Love Island,
You know
you kind of
you're-
you have to. And if you're making an idiot of yourself, you kind of have to.
Yeah.
You have to kind of roll with the punches. And I like to kind of keep my commentary really Irish, as you can hear.
Yes.
I'm from the country, so I like to keep it country, like, because I feel like in Ireland there's a lot of Americanisms rolling into the way people
Yeah.
speak now, and I like to keep it really like country
Irish,
and raw.
yeah.
As my mother says to me sometimes, "Oh, Alan, you're raw as ropes." So like, I'm a bit unedited and raw, so I like to keep it that way. And
Yeah.
people seem to like it as well.
Good. I'm so excited that you're now going to be able to roll your commentary into this show. And we're not going to be interrupting Alan's commentary at all because you're still going to be doing all that live. We're pre-recording this.
Yeah.
But what can we expect from this season? Because this is the only episode I'm on. I'm leaving you go after this. You're going to be chatting to some really cool celebrities, influencers. It's going to be no holds barred, but can you give us a little tease of what you want to be chatting about this year?
Well, we just want to really get into the nitty gritty. We don't want it to be just like a recap, like other people kind of do. There's nothing wrong with that as well.
It's kind of boring though. We've seen the episode. We know what happened.
Yeah, like, we want to obviously talk about the main things that are happening in the show, but we really want to get into like the psyche of the contestants and
Yeah.
kind of like who's doing what and kind of our predictions and just having a laugh with it, like, do you know, that kind of
Yeah.
way. It's not so much a recap as more of a deep dive, a weekly
Yeah.
deep dive, and
Yeah.
really get stuck in.
And I think people forget that it is a TV show. Like, it is heavily produced. There are storylines. I mean, a lot of Islanders, since they've come out, as you know from watching the interviews, they start saying, producers pulled me here, producers pulled me there. So I'm excited to see you talk about that, because I've noticed that from your commentary. You kind of spot when maybe a producer's pulled someone,
Yeah.
or there's a new storyline, or suddenly someone's not interested in someone else. I know you're very good for keeping an eye on that, so you're going to call it on those things.
Oh, completely. And I'm like, and people say like, oh, it's kind of like, it's a bit scripted, this and that, but it has to be in this day and
Has to be,
age.
yeah. I still think it's wild, and I know everybody kind of knows this now, but there's a producer in the house.
Yeah.
As in, they might be having a chat and they'd be like, guys, sorry, can you actually go over to the beds? I think just people forget how heavily produced it is like that.
Yeah, so we've had like 15, 20 years of proper reality, from Big Brother to Kardashians to Made in Chelsea and everything in between. And us as viewers, like, what we want is very fast paced and high octane. So like, if people are just left to their own devices, people wouldn't watch it. So like, as it is, the producers do get involved. They're needed. They have to keep the show on the road. But I wish sometimes it was a little bit less obvious. But
And I think you can really see it. Maybe we'll get deep into the last 2 seasons now, because I definitely think there were some people in the house that really shone through. Their personality was so strong, and since they've left, barely anything out of them.
Ek and Sue.
Ekin is definitely one of them, and I actually love Ekin. Like, we had her over for the Gossies, but I haven't seen that kind of fiery, dominant character since she left. So I'm wondering, was that because the producers were so involved? They were pushing her to have those arguments, pushing her to kind of stand up for herself in those moments. Because since she has come out, I haven't really seen that fiery side, and I loved that. And she's the nicest girl ever. I absolutely love her, but I can't understand where that fiery personality's gone, because I think Maura, we could say the same. Love Maura too, amazing on the show. But I think when they come out and they're so popular, maybe they don't feel...
Management, I think, tell them they need to kind of
But I don't think they feel the need to be argumentative and fiery, because now it's like, right, I'm a celebrity, need to focus on that. But I actually think people miss the fieriness. Like Faye Winter, for example, she still has the fiery in her. Like she was at the Gossies as well, and we chat quite a lot, and she's still like chatting, you know, like pointing the finger.
Maura still has that, but she doesn't show it online. I think with Ekin was a bit of both. She was, the producers were kind of like bringing her along the way, and obviously she's an actress, but I think outside as well, like she either made the decision or management, like, look, just keep it top line, surface level.
She's the softest, sweetest, gentlest person. Like when I met her, I was like, oh my god, it was actually quite different from what I expected. But I think that's what people need to remember, is that people are pushed to their limits on that show. You know, they're like, I, as my friends would know, I'm like looking at Kendra over there, if I had a situation where like an ex was near me, I wouldn't be happy. So like when I think of
you'd be like a Briar.
Yeah, when I think of Jax and Gemma, how they just brought in her ex, like I would be fuming, and then put in no phone, no access to home, you don't know what time it is, you're being woken up at 4 a.m, I would probably be screaming the house down.
Oh, we'd be brought out in straitjackets.
Yeah, so it's actually shocking that some of them act so normal. But look, let's go into the actual seasons. I want to go into Love Island 2022, just as we were chatting about Ekin there, right? So summer 2022.
Yeah.
Ekin and Davide won. I did actually love that love story, because obviously at the start we were all obsessed with them. Then they broke up, and it all changed when Ekin went crawling.
Oh, sure, we love a love arc, don't we? Like we really do. Like
were you surprised by that move when she suddenly started looking elsewhere from Davide at the beginning?
I was a bit like, and I don't know what was driving that. Was it her? Was it the producers, or does she just have a bit of a wandering eye, as we'd say? Do you know, that kind of way? I feel like, do you know yourself, if there's someone good looking, you'd be like, the head would be turned straight away, and you'd be kind of nearly cross-eyed from looking at everyone going around. So I think there's a bit of that. I think she just like fancies nearly everyone. So
the crawling was just so legendary. And when she did Dancing on Ice, obviously one of her first dances, she recreated the crawl. Like, for me, I thought that was one of the standout moments of the season. Like, she kind of was a central character, wasn't she?
Like, look, between her and Davide, they were the ones that kind of, they kept the ratings going, kind of like, because a lot of the couples, like especially Tash and Andrew were a bit as well, but they were a bit coupley, and there wasn't a huge amount going on, so they really brought the fire and brought the drama, which we needed as well.
Sorry, Lyle actors get
and the Gucci,
like how has he not made that into a t-shirt? Like, what's going on?
It's crazy. Like, but no, they were amazing TV, like that crawling and everything. So but the one bit about the producers, remember when your man Jay, the Scottish fine bit of stuff,
the one she crawled on the balcony for,
and that was all going on, and then he kind of did a 180 and he was wanting to go back to Paige, and she was like, that's fine, grand, tipped away. 2 minutes later, she came in like hot as anything,
screaming at him,
roaring the head off.
You could really tell they were involved that time.
So I'd say the producer said, you need to get out there and tear the head off him.
And what's interesting, I saw an interview, and thank God she did. See, like, I loved those moments. I saw an interview with Jay recently, I don't know if you saw it as well, and he said that when he went into the villa, he only had eyes for Paige. And that's what he wanted to do, and they were like, no, you have to go to Ekin. And then after the Ekin situation happened, they're like, right, now you can go to Paige. And he was like, right, okay. So I think a lot of that stuff happens that frustrates the others. But I think if you're not the main character, you kind of have to go along with the storylines.
Big time.
Because when you're going in there, especially as a bombshell, which Jay was at the time, and to be honest, if I, like, you couldn't pay me 10 million to go on Love Island, but if I was to go on...
10 million you would, Ali, come on.
10 million for a minute maybe. But I wouldn't, I'd really hate to go in as a bombshell. It's actually the worst, because you have to go in there so game playing. You have to have your eyes on someone, you have to cause a ruckus, cause arguments.
You're on the back foot straight away, like it's and a lot of people have come out saying I was meant to be in the main villa and I came in as a bombshell. It just feels so bad for them. There's not, I think if you come in a bombshell the first week or two, you're grand, because after a while you're nearly considered an OG and treated as such. But if you're coming in later on, like you're really, like, apart from like Maura was a bombshell, or even Molly May were bombshells. And
Greg O'Shea, when you think about it, he won the whole show. He was in like the last 10 days of it.
Greg was phenomenal though, in fairness.
He was
like
brilliant.
He was actually, like, when you were kind of sitting down, like some of the reactions and stuff, he was like, he's just actually normal person.
Like, I remember that. Mad, like, I remember he actually was allowed to leave to go to his nana's funeral and everything. He was only there for 2 weeks, and they were the craziest 2 weeks ever. But that was definitely proof. But the two people we just mentioned there are Irish.
Oh,
like there is
my
a
favourite
lack.
subject.
There's a lack of Irish contestants on Love Island. I know there was one last. There's been one maybe every year. I think they need more than one.
And there was one or two seasons that winter one had none, and another summer one had none. But like that year
then
was
in, like the Casa Amor, they threw someone in.
yeah. But that year was great because we had Maura, Greg and Yolanda, so
Yes,
like we
all
had
the
the
same
three
year.
Irish,
And that was one of the best years.
and they made such an impact as well. That was
Yeah.
my favourite season by far. And then we had Dami, obviously, which was great, and he got really far,
Yeah.
and he's still really popular, going out with India as well. Then other than that,
In fairness, Jack Keating, I know he's only in there for a short time, but he has had a really good career since. I think, to be fair, he made a good dent in the show. Like,
and he's had a child as well.
Had a child since, but even at the very end of him leaving, wasn't it? Ekin went up to him and was like, "Life is always a roller coaster."
Yeah.
Like, she had such good one-liners,
Yeah.
but I was delighted for him. But yeah, I know. So this season, we'll get on to in a couple of minutes. I know that there's an Irish person there, but I wish there was more. Like, there hasn't been a character like Maura, for example. Like, we're talking about you to start the show. You say it as it is. It's your country Irishness. That's where it comes from. I'd love to see someone in there from like Limerick, Galway, Cork.
Oh, we'll never get a
someone in
Maura
there.
again like that. I don't think it was just
Why?
like she came in bat out of hell, coming in like a Venezuelan model. The
Yeah.
walk on her and the confidence, you couldn't buy it. And then
Yeah.
she opens her mouth and she's like, "How do you know what I mean?
know.
Pure Longford, and it was
Sorry,
brilliant.
that fight with Tom
Oh yeah.
will go down in history. Like, it was just so good. It comes up on my TikTok all the time now still, like just that whole scene. And that's what I loved about her, because the producers were not involved in that argument. You could see the look
You
in
couldn't
her
produce
eyes.
her.
It was
Couldn't.
just fire as soon as she saw, because I definitely think with some of the bigger moments we've seen, you don't really see the lead up, you kind of see it happening, like you're talking about with Ekin coming
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
But with Maura, it would just flow into some
Or she makes a
rage.
split decision. Or even
Yeah.
when they were talking, and she's like, "What are you saying that for?" And then she was asking Curtis, "Are you tick with me?" And he's like, "What's that?" And she'd explain what tick
See,
is.
she was so clever with that too, like all with Amy trying to be there for her, and then 2 seconds later she's like, "I fancy Curtis."
Yeah,
I've
no,
always
she
fancied
went.
him. I was like, oh my god, I genuinely think she did it on her own. I think the producers were sitting back going, great.
Yeah.
This is brilliant. We haven't had to intervene.
But she
at
was
all.
lucky, because remember when she came in first and she was really going after Tommy,
yeah.
and she practically mauled him in the laba, and there was a
It could
few
have gone either way.
there was a kind of complaints, was it
Yeah.
to This Morning or GMTV, about like, you know, if that was
Yeah,
a
a
man
man.
doing it to a woman, but then she was able to turn it around,
Yeah.
like, do you know, and
That's the scary thing about Love Island though, because it's like Big Brother and all those shows, because you don't know how you're being perceived.
yeah.
There must be constant anxiety there, because that could have gone that way
Yeah.
if she hadn't kind of become this feminist icon, which she did. Like, do you remember Amy Schumer and everyone was tweeting about her
Yeah.
when she came out? If that hadn't happened, would she have been coming out to people being like, that was inappropriate? Like, it's so hard
Yeah.
to know. The audience are so fickle with everybody who's in there. But I did love Maura's season as well for Anna. Do you remember Anna and Jordan's fight?
yeah.
Anytime I see people like
All the
this, their
memes with the
fingers-
guns then after,
Oh my god.
need to
that
send
was-
Anna in to sort it out.
Wasn't that the Destiny's Childish?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Childish.
Childish. Wasn't it Michael the fireman? And
Michael,
Anne?
yeah.
Like, that year feels like 4 years in one.
Yeah.
Like, the best characters were that
Phenomenal. And
year.
Amy was brilliant, wasn't she? She was just like,
Yeah. God love her though.
do you know, coming back into court, I was going to tell you I loved you, and the barring her teeth, but like she was like no holds barred, unedited
Yeah, as well. And like, I feel like they're the best characters. I definitely think the last 2 seasons, it's more noticeable that people are aware that it's a show.
They need to send in kind of people that are a bit unstable.
Yeah.
I know they've I know there's
like,
a duty
"I'm
of
free."
there's a duty of care,
Yeah.
but someone that's kind of normal unstable, like, you know, they're not going to go really bad, but like you need that, because last year, even the winter one, the last one, there was no one really that was unstable. Your one Zara had tried to have a few moments, but I
Then
feel
they,
that
like,
was
got rid of her
premeditated.
almost,
Yeah.
I felt.
But she always felt very much in control, and that she was kind of premeditated in what she was doing.
Yeah.
You want someone that's unhinged. I
Yeah.
miss the days when you had the wands with the silk up purple, and they have the few drinks
Oh
on
my
the
God,
go,
I know.
out on the deck, shooting
Yeah.
the breeze, and then
Yeah.
rowing, like, and they can't
And now
do
they
that
can only
anymore.
have like 1 cigarette a day or something at the front.
Yeah, you don't
door.
even see them.
You can't
Yeah,
see them.
seemingly the
Yeah.
producers hated because Maura was in and out like a yo-yo out to the front of the
Constantly
house, because
smoking,
you're just
yeah.
hanging out the ciggies. But you don't see that anymore. Obviously, we can't glorify smoking, but
Yeah, you're like, but I'm dying for a fun.
yeah, or they haven't. Yeah.
No, I know. I think you're right. It's the same like on nights out and stuff. Even like, I don't smoke, but like the chats happen in the smoking area.
Yeah.
It's just, I know what you mean. You're missing that social element, and they're also only allowed to have 1 drink per night when they have them. But then sometimes I watch The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and I'm like, oh my god, when they get drunk, they say the craziest things. So I do understand the protective reasons to not do that, because you'll say stupid things or have sex on camera, and then ITV are on the hook for allowing that to happen in the first place.
Yeah, but it's Love Island. Like, they're still not going to do the bit of riding.
Speaking of a bit of riding, actually, do you remember the controversy that happened? Former Miss Great Britain Zara.
Oh, Zara, yeah.
I felt very bad for her. So recap what happened that season.
Yeah, because that's a few years ago now. So she was like, I don't know what, it's not like Miss UK, you know, there's loads of different titles. She was Miss Great Britain, and she went in, lovely girl, got a bit drunk, and I can't even remember who the lad was. Oh, was it your man that is now... Yeah, Alex, it's with Olivia.
Yeah.
Both.
And they didn't even fully sleep together, did they?
No,
bit of fun.
What way will I say it? She gave a blowjob, yeah. There's no good way of PC way of saying it, but so she did what she did. We didn't see it, obviously. There was, you could see the duvet and the bit of rooting and tooting underneath. But then after, which was terrible, the camera zoomed in on her and she kind of licked her teeth after it.
God.
But you know, the kind of seductive. You're in the moment. You think
something just happened.
You think you're great.
And I remember, didn't they call her into the diary room to let her know that her title was stripped? So I think a lot of changes have happened since that season. I think they felt, and like what you were saying earlier on, they signed a waiver to go in. But like, I do think they definitely always needed to protect that part, the kind of what went on under the covers, and they do still now. You still see the odd movement, but I do think it's wrong, obviously, for any of that stuff to be on TV. So I think they're right not to do that. But I think they've gone very PC in general now. So like, one of the big changes in the last 2 seasons is that no one's social media is allowed to be active during the show. So that's the first thing. So people's families can't be live tweeting, can't be on the Instagram, to protect, I suppose, the families from getting death threats or from hearing bad things. But what do you think about that? Because people go in to get followers. Yeah,
I think it's a bit unfair, because like, most of them aren't going in there for love unless they're a little bit mad. Like, do you know, can they not use the online dating apps for that? But like, the big reason a lot of them go in is to become like an influencer, quote unquote, and to get kind of famous. And I suppose it's kind of like, that's the trade-off. Like, ITV are getting them, you know, to perform. They don't get paid for it, and then they get that off the back of it, and they can kind of continue on after. Now that's gone, so it's kind of like,
I think last year, like, I don't think anyone's hit 1 million. And like, I think Ekin came out to 1 million. When you think about the sort of numbers they used to have. Another protectionist measure that they've done is they've removed some key games they used to play. So one of them was it called Tweet the Headlines or something?
It was it was kind of like spot the tweet base, or name like, the person.
I think they took that away because it was becoming a bit of a mind game. They're like, so it'd be like, X is so fake, and they all had to guess who it was. Like, that game's gone. I loved that game.
Was the best.
And it caused so many arguments in the house, and that's why I think it was a good kind of plan originally, but now that's gone too.
And the lie detector test.
I remember the first year I ever watched Love Island was the year Danny Dyer was in it. And I literally tuned in for the lie detector episodes the first time I'd watched it. And they were asking your man, I forgot his name now. What's his name?
Jack,
Fowler, is that him? They asked him, are you with Danny just because her dad's famous? And he was like, no. And I was like, and everyone was
and
like,
it really messed up the relationship then in there. So it's kind of like, that bit is unfair, because obviously, like, look how accurate are lie detectors.
Your partner had to take lie detector tests now. Like, do you really love us cooking? Like, it would definitely cause
sweating here,
issues. Like. But the problem with those elements not being in there anymore, yes, I agree, they probably are so much better for the mental health of the contestants. But it's hard when you're watching the show, because there are some lulls, aren't there now? Like, you definitely feel it.
Big time. Like, I think the biggest lull sometimes is the first week.
Really?
Yeah, because people are finding their feet and you have the recoupling, and then it's kind of just... everyone's a bit tentative around each other, and everyone's like, oh, this year is a bit boring, but you have to give it a while. Like, and that's why they always have those kind of, the likes of Amor or Molly May, kind of bombshells that should really be in from the start, but they're brought in to kind of like inject that bit of madness.
And are we still sticking with the same rules of the public get to vote the initial couples in?
I don't know, I haven't heard.
Yes, we're still doing that. Kendra says yes. That's interesting. Kendra. I think that's definitely to get people involved from day one. Because like you're saying, it's a bit kind of boring at the very beginning.
It is, like, and then in fairness now, I think, like, obviously Maya Jama, that was her first season.
Amazing job. Like, she should be in the villa. Like, that's why she works. she's wearing the same clothes, like she's doing the same deals, and she's single herself and she's out there dating. I think that's why she fits so well.
All the lads and girls coming out are just jaws dropped looking at her, kind of like.
I know when they're doing the recoupling, I'm just waiting for a lad to be like, I'm recoupling with Maya.
Why don't they do that for the laugh? They probably wouldn't include it, but like
they probably wouldn't allow it. Yeah.
No shade against Laura. Like obviously Laura's an amazing presenter. I just don't think she was that suited to Love Island.
Yeah, and I think she was uncomfortable with kind of what was going on in the villa and how the show is produced. And I think if you're going to host it, you have to be on board.
That's why Caroline was so amazing, because you could have seen Caroline in there. I remember at the recoupling, and you should always have the arm around the girls. She console them. She was in the trenches with them. And Maya's that way as well. So like you need someone.
Even I think last season, she kept saying, "Are you gassing?" And I was like, "What the hell does that mean?" But everyone's like, "Yeah, we're gassing." I was like, "Right, she just gets them. Like she's like a part of their group basically, just in there." So the couples being put together, I'm interested to see who's going to be put together this year. Before we get on to the season though, I do want to talk about winter, because it was only the second ever winter series. What did you think of it?
I liked, there were good parts of it. I kind of tapered off kind of course way through. I kind of took a week or two off from it because it was just it hadn't hooked me as much
as the summer.
And you think with winter, like there's less going on, darker nights, people would be more into watching it. I don't know, people are just programmed for the summer. It kind of, I remember it puts you in good form for going out and kind of getting dressed up and kind of going around with people. So I think like
I remember feeling cold watching it because it was so windy in South Africa, and I know they were actually probably quite warm, but then when they came out afterwards, they said it was freezing at night.
Freezing.
So when I was watching the recouplings, it was cold winter nights here, and I was like, oh,
nipples cutting out through the dresses,
literally frozen. And then I think in terms of characters for winter, now I loved Olivia.
Yeah.
She was definitely supposed to be the next Maura, the next Ekin, like that was the plan. And Olivia and Zara, I actually really enjoyed that storyline. I think the drama was really necessary. The love triangle with Tom, I think that kind of kicked off the show very strongly.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, look, that was brilliant. Like Olivia came out to a lot of hate, and then a few like Tanyel joined.
Yeah, oh my god, Tanyel, the most ridiculous name I've ever.
I know,
Anyway.
So a lot of them came out saying that Olivia wasn't nice in there and all that. Like, but you're in to play a game. It's not.
It's a job.
It's not about making friends.
And she's an actress, Olivia is.
Yeah.
She as well, And in fairness to her though, it's not like she got around with everyone. She did seem to genuinely only like Tom and then Maxwell. That is she left with. But not too many couples have survived the winter season.
No, like I just think like summer's my favourite, and there's a few couples from last summer even as well, like that are still going. There's Tash and Andrew.
I think they're gonna get married.
Do you?
Yeah, I think they're in it to win. I think they're gonna last. Like I really do, and that's why it's so funny watching the show, because the same with Lana and Ron in the winter season. The ones that seem the most turbulent, that the heads are turning.
That's it. Yeah.
It's like they get all their tests out of the way, and then genuinely they end up staying together for ages. Like I could have put money on it that Ron was not going to stay with Lana in real life, and now they seem so strong. They're literally one of the only couples left.
I know. I think, but we have to remember as well, they're all like really young as well. Like they're like so 20, 21, 22, 23. Like imagine being that age now. We are being put in there. I know.
Like, I think like Molly May was 19 when she went on the show, and Tommy was only like 20. Like they were both super young. But I really liked Ron and Lana in the end though, and I remember what got really interesting last season. I wonder if this is going to happen again. Do you remember towards the end they all started second guessing each other? Yeah. They really were like starting to question who was real, who was saying what. Will and Jesse, Jesse was being
they turned on Jesse, didn't they?
Yeah, and like Will did not take to that too kindly. No. And even when they left before was it after the final, there was like an episode where Maya was chatting to them.
Oh, the reunion, or not the reunion, there was kind of the recap show.
Right before the end, and Casey was there, and like Will was really angry at Casey for even suggesting Jesse was fake. So that was the first season I feel that I could see loads of the couples all starting to kind of retreat and turn against the other couples.
A few of the lads turned against Ron, remember, as well.
The guys had a lot of problems in the winter season. Shaq, like the washing of the dishes, I can't. Like the arguments they're having were so simple, but I wonder is that because it's literally cabin fever. Like they're in there so long, and there's not much to do. And like that's what I felt about winter too. There wasn't that much happening in it. So I wonder was that why towards the end the claws came out.
Yeah, but it's kind of like, you'd nearly wish the fighting was made more between the couples and people got off doing the dirt rather than the dishes, and it became a bit like Big Brother nearly at the end rather than Love Island.
And you know as well what they didn't do this year, so obviously absolutely obsessed with Casa Amor. It gives me anxiety. Like, imagine you knew your fella, I would be climbing over the gates. I'd like, get me into that house. So that's really so anxiety rising, that sort of situation. But this year they didn't send the postcard. Yeah,
that's kind of part as well. They're trying to nearly protect people.
Them. But you miss it though.
Miss it, like that.
If you're gonna kiss someone on camera, you should be prepared that that's gonna be put in a postcard. I'm sorry, like if you're gonna do it. Now I know this season with Faye and Teddy, the picture that they sent was a part of a game, and that's why they got loads of complaints because he hadn't actually kissed someone else.
And then she reared up then.
But I think if someone's genuinely smooching out of a game, why not put it in a postcard?
Just remember Dami in India then as well. Both picked someone else and both got pure take with each other.
Made the best heartbreak reunion. That was so dramatic. But see, they're still together as well. It's the ones that fight the most. And obviously I know this is 2021, but Liam and Millie are back together.
I know. What's going on there?
Interesting. So we had Liam over for the Goss.ie show last season, and I think we all got out a feeling that maybe they were getting back together, because even when we were finished the interview, he was talking about her a lot. And I think the thing is as well, when you've been through that experience and you have someone that went through it as well, I think they're kind of very drawn to it, because even last season Sammy and Tom have broken up, and now there's videos of them back together. I'd say it's hard to stay away from people that went through that entire experience with you. It's
a bubble really, and I suppose they might break up to see, do we actually want to get back together as well.
Yeah, but that recoupling was iconic with Millie and Liam. Do you remember? That was the first year they started letting people tell what happened. So Lily and Millie, Lily told what happened. So that's still in it, which I really enjoy. But now the problem is everyone in Casa knows that moment happens. So
and they all try and recreate it. Remember your own Coco with Andrew then as well, and that's where
I
sucked her tit or whatever.
That was so bad. But I think that's what I'm finding. I would love to see something shake up this year where people aren't expecting something to happen. I just think everyone in there knows. I'd say when the parts we don't see on camera, they're like, all right guys, must be Casa tomorrow, we're halfway through. Like I think everyone's very aware of how it all works. I would just love to see people be caught off guard.
They need to change it up a bit and get a few unstable people in there.
You love the unstable people.
But that's what we need. Like, they're all the best.
I want to know what you thought of Adam Collard being brought back. Do you think there should be more OGs brought in as a bombshell?
I think maybe one each season, because I think he came back in and he kind of I wouldn't say he redeemed himself, but he got a lot of hate.
5 seconds he did,
He got a lot of hate from his year, but it's a game at the end of the day. It's not like people are getting married and ruining families. They're young people in having a laugh. So I think I think he added to the series when he came in.
Did you?
Yeah, I think he did, and he kind of fitted in well. So I wouldn't mind the odd one or two for each season, but not too much. But I heard they are going to bring out an all-star season potentially next year.
Yes. Oh my god.
Which would be phenomenal.
I think that would be amazing.
But then I'd be worried with that signal, the end of it then. Because where do you go after the All-Stars?
Do you remember the first ever season of Love Island, the original, which was hosted by, oh my god, it's going to wreck my head now.
Oh, the one that was Celebrity Love Island. Where it was,
so Callum Best went on it, Bianca Gascoigne.
Frank Cosgrave, the Irish lad.
Sophie Anderton.
I think I did my junior cert when that was on.
Was it?
And my mother was getting take with me because I wasn't studying. I was watching that.
I remember being obsessed with that show. So I wonder what they do. That's basically what an All-Stars version is, though. It's a celebrity version. That's what it could be. Yeah,
so the All-Stars would be former contestants, whoever's single at the time, but then they could do a celebrity version.
Yeah.
So that's kind of nearly like X on the Beach or something.
Yeah,
but I think it would work if they just did a one-off.
And that's what I felt with Summer last year when Jax was just sitting in the house. I thought it was a really weird move that they brought in an ex of Gemma.
Yeah.
And every second guy they brought in she'd be like, oh, I know him. I was like, how does Gemma know everyone? She just seemed to know all the guys. I didn't know if I really liked that, because I was like, this isn't X on the Beach though.
She was kind of the contestant that never was, as in she could have been brilliant and she just controlled herself too much and held back.
Do you think?
Because seemingly a lot of people were saying she was so funny in there and crack, but didn't come across. She really kind of minded what she said. And
in the unseen bits, people were saying she was like gas and then really fun. I also hated Luca on the show. I did not like him at all. Didn't like him. And he's probably listening to the podcast now. I just didn't like his behaviour towards Gemma either, and that's probably why maybe she was a bit diluted on the show, because it was very
coercive and controlling.
Yeah, and I think Love Island gets a lot of hate for showing relationships like that, right? But in my opinion, I think it's really good that young people see his behaviour, because then they start discussing it at home and they're like, actually, that's not
to see that it's vilified then.
Yeah, and I remember Liberty Poole, so that year...
Oh, she was a creator, wasn't she?
She was a creator, but I remember when she left, literally the week of the final, she like refused to stay on because she was like, this isn't me, Jake is being rude to me. He didn't do anything crazy, but it was small little digs. I remember thinking so many young girls are going to watch that and be like, you know what, actually, that isn't good enough and that's not good enough for me. So I think it gets a lot of hate because there's gaslighting, blah, blah, but I'm always like, yeah, that's what happens though. This is only a reflection of society. Like, a lot of people give out about Casa Amor and I'm like, what do you think happens on lads' holidays? Like, the things that go on there go on in real life. Like, they're just left to their own, devices. Yes, it's on TV, so like they're probably acting up. But I think they do get a bit lost in the moments. You can see that they kind of forget the cameras are there.
They do. After a while you would, or you just don't care anymore.
Except those Maiden Chelsea-esque days where they go to the clubs. I hate those days.
Oh, the forced kind of fake dancing. And
the fake dancing. Oh my god.
And then you've Becky Hill singing a song in the background.
They're like, oh my god, Becky Hill. And some of them have no idea who it is. They've just been told, scream out her name there. But I remember the most recent one, Casey and Claudia. Yeah. That fight was so awkward. And you could tell the camera was like beside them and everyone was just standing there being like, oh, so I don't like those days. No. But yeah, I'm interested to see what this season's going to be like. So we have all of the contestants here in our gorgeous little pink glitter Goss branded, So I haven't looked at a single person yet. So have you not? Oh yeah. Start to finish. So we won't go through every single contestant, but Alan, do you want to highlight a few for us that you think are going to be the ones to watch this season? Well
look, we'll have to start at home anyway with the lovely Catherine.
Yes.
How are you, Catherine? So Catherine is 22. She is, I don't want to, they say commercial real estate agent, but like kind of real estate is an American way of saying it.
What is commercial real estate? She's selling offices to people?
So yeah, I'd say she's selling like kind of office space, kind of, or like, kind of like any warehouse.
I'd love if someone like in the US warehouse. She's like an overall stunning warehouse. We're thinking Christine Quinn, Chanel, like amazing outfits.
Well, if you look at Catherine here, like she's kind of like, she's competing with them. She's obviously stunning girl.
She's gorgeous.
Beautiful
and I
smile.
love to see an Irish OG entering the house.
Yeah, because like the OGs will stay on, for a good while.
Catherine now.
In a lovely red ensemble.
So she's 22.
Yeah, she looks maybe about 24, 25, as in not that she looks older, but she looks...
we'll age her up. And she says she describes herself as fun, flirty and never boring. So that's what we're saying today. That's what we want. We want people that are exciting, always smiling, always happy. You'll always see me with a smile on my face. Oh my god, okay, we get it. She loves to smile.
She's 2 degrees as well, undergrad and masters in psychology and sociology, and then real estate as well. Oh. So she has the smarts to back it up, which is great. So like she's
psychology will be a handy one in there.
Yeah, so she's not going to be an Allegiant, do you know what I mean? So
she'll be able to read people.
I have I've seen little VT of her on Love Island socials, and she seems to have a lot of something about her. So she'll go a long way, and she'll be a main kind of...
She has that look in her eye that you could call some devilment.
Yeah, she'll be a main contender, and she'll be kind of probably queen bee with the girl groups.
How funny is this quote? By the way, my teeth are real. People just think they're veneers. I had braces when I was younger. I love the random quotes that they add into their bio. They actually do look great. They look great.
I suppose she's saying, look, these aren't fake.
Yeah, she looks real from head to toe, actually, which is nice, because I think as well, Love Island's had a bit of a bad rep for having people in there with fake boobs, fake lips, Botox, and they're like 19. So she looks real head to toe. I love that.
Yeah, they veered away last year, actually, summer. You noticed there wasn't that much filler.
And like Molly May, Faye, they've both come out of the show being like, I've regained the weight that I lost and I've gotten my lips dissolved and all that sort of stuff. Sorry, Faye didn't talk about her weight, Liberty did. But there's a lot of them that said they actually look at the show now and they're like, ugh. Like they don't want to be so fake or so skinny. So I think they're trying to veer away from that. Tyreek.
I was just actually on the same page as that.
Tyreek. The name alone.
Would he be a bit of you now, Ali? Would he?
No.
Really? No.
He's also 24. He's too young.
That's only a couple of years younger than you. You'd be grand.
Grab a coffee. Semi-pro footballer turns me off straight away.
Well, semi-pro, because the pros wouldn't go on it, they wouldn't be allowed. So.
True. So what
division would that be now? He'd probably be like...
Yeah, actually in the picture his hands are like this. This is my knowledge of pro football as well. I don't know, or semi-pro football.
Spin the out legs on him for a footballer. You think he'd have the bigger legs. Anyway, I'm not coming for you, Tyreek.
And he's best friends with Toby, who was with Chloe Burrows. So we loved Toby, who was basically Irish.
He was a good personality, so I'd say.
I remember every time a girl walked in, he was like, his head turned about 75 times that season.
He'd be a good one to be voted in with Catherine. He'd be a strong personality, the two of them together.
Very true. And they grew up and went to the same school and class together, him and Toby. He said, when asked what he'll bring to the villa, I'll bring vibes. Confidence, good energy and honesty. I don't sit on the fence. If I have an opinion, I will speak up. I'm also not afraid to go after what I want. Yeah, him and Catherine. I think they could be a good fit. Two strong personalities from the get-go.
I hate when people, everything's vibes. It's overused, isn't it?
What's the phrase that they constantly use in Love Island? Not like it is what it is, but...
It is what it is until it isn't.
No, what's the phrase they constantly use? It's so overused. Girls. Do you remember it was the year Maura was in
eggs in the basket?
My type on paper.
Ask in the comments.
No, let us know. Remind us what it was. It's something like, oh, it is what it is. Or one of those phrases got used year after year. But Gaston was really popular last year. Gaston was a good one. So Molly Marsh, I'm going to show her here as well.
Yeah.
So
look at that for a pose.
I know. I think that she is very much a typical Love Island contestant. She's 21. She's from Doncaster, and her occupation.
What accent was that?
A Doncaster one.
Doncaster.
So she's musical theatre performer, social media creator, and Kendra has her occupation, or Emma, I don't know, as mum was in Corrie. That's her occupation.
It's underneath it.
So look, she's been on the fringes of the industry.
Yeah.
She was going to get famous no matter what. This is her avenue in now. She's kind of like, she'll know how to bring it. She's the drama degree. She's theatre performer. Yeah, she's an influencer. So she'll know what to be doing, how to get that moment in the spotlight. So I have a feeling she'll be a good one. Maybe she might be a bit of a row starter or whatever. And
also she interestingly was in the villa before, so sometimes they bring influencers over just to see the villa and share it on Instagram, and apparently the last time she was in there she was like, I want in.
She got a producer by the scruff of the neck basically.
But I also, makes me think of, Phoebe Denver, Bridgerton, obviously her mom is Sally in Coronation Street. She thinks she's going to get that kind of out of it. Maybe she'll be seeing Pete Davidson if she
and she had something with Jack Keating as well.
I think it was either a romance or some flirty sexting maybe. So she knows the Love Islanders well then.
Oh, here's your man George Fenson. Now there was a bit of backlash here because George, the kind of official kind of headshots for Love Island were put in, and people were kind of coming for George's appearance, even though he's a good looking lad.
Why?
And then when you go on his Instagram, they did do him a bit dirty though with this picture compared to his other ones.
Some of the shots are not nice. The lighting is not good, and they shoot from like the ankles up. It looks like they're not good shots.
My double chin wouldn't withstand that angle now at all.
Stop! You don't have a double chin.
Oh, well, you would now on the floor.
Imagine ankles up and you're wearing a bikini or you're wearing boxers. Like there's nowhere to hide. He's 24. They are a bit older this year, and not that 24 is old, but like they normally go 19, 20.
That occupation is so generic. Business development executive.
Yeah.
Get him over for Goss, will we?
Yeah, that's actually one of our roles. I'm not joking. He said also, I'm the first person to bring the vibe up. Why is vibe being used again? I'm always the one who wants to go out, and my go-to dance move is what I call the dad dance. He kind of seems a bit like a Will character to me.
No, you're being harsh on Will. I think his lad's a bit of a wet blanket, not much to him.
He said he loves enjoying trips to the zoo on Saturday.
You know what I call him?
Put that in their bio.
He's harmless. Pure harmless.
Okay, he's going to be taken for a ride.
That's a no for me.
Who says they want to go to the zoo?
Mehdi. He's the French lad, is he?
From Bordeaux, but lives in London.
He'll probably have to go
manager.
He'll have to go chat. So between Au Francais and being a comms manager, he'll be grand.
When asked if he's ready to find the one, he said, I've been busy for the last few years at work. All right, doing my master's degree, but now I'm done with the busy schedule and I'm ready to find love. That's him just putting his CV out there.
Yeah, he's 26, so the lads are all kind of mid-20s.
They are definitely older this year.
Here we go.
She looks very similar to Rochelle Hume's sister.
Yes,
Sophie.
She does, Sophie.
She looks very like
She
her.
was the one that was an extra in a Brad Pitt film as well. So they're all, as my mother would say, they have a bit of a want in them.
So she was an extra in World War Z. Now, given what that movie's about, she's probably in the background of 700 other extras.
Probably a zombie or something.
But she said that's her claim to fame. She was also in Haiti 1 and Burna Boy music video.
Who were they?
Sorry, she was in the Brad Pitt movie when she was 12. Get over it, love. We've moved on. She said she is wifey material and that she's the whole package. She's 23, she's a model, Scottish. I think she's going to be
Scottish,
liked.
yeah, she'll have.
They love the Scots.
Mitchell.
They love the Scots.
No, he's a fine bit of stuff, Mitchell, I think. They say he looks like
They're
Luca.
definitely veneers now.
And him to look now.
They're not Catherine's real teeth.
Oh yeah, look at the big old
yeah,
chompers.
so I know the girls put on the feed that he looked like Luca, and Luca was not too happy about it. He commented on it.
Luca would be lucky to look like him. He wasn't great, I thought. No.
So he's 26 as well. He said, I've got to find the girl that I want to marry and have kids with. I'm nearly 27. I don't want to play the field anymore.
To be
God,
27
is so young.
To be 27 again, Ali.
He's
what?
like, oh, I'm kicking off. Sorry, I am 27.
That was last year. You're 28 now, Ali.
I wish. He said, I'll fill your bedside drawer with your favourite sweets and chocolate.
When you started like
has a
fill
mouse
with, I was like, what's
infestation-
this going to
No,
be?
can I just say, do not put chocolate in your bedside drawer. It will drive the mice to you. I can tell you that from personal
Oh, you used the little mouse attack, didn't you?
Jess Harding, I like her vibe. Pink bikini. It actually looks like the sparkle.
I feel like she'll be a bit of a Liberty Pool character.
Yes, she's also an aesthetics practitioner, so she's in the beauty industry.
So
I'd
got
say
the Botox and
the lips. I'd say she probably knows some of the Love Anderson before. She's one of the youngest. She's 22. She said that she's a big personality and has got a heart of gold. I'm honest and I love love. Although she has some big icks. When a guy stunts for money, that's an ick. And also showing off designer clothes.
Oh, stunts for money if he's main.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And shows off designer clothes because they're fake. There's no fake F&F here, lads. I'll tell you that now.
No.
Tesco, the real deal. But yeah, she actually said another boy is when a boy runs for the train and the train goes without him, or if they have lunch boxes, just go to Tesco and get a meal deal. We agree with you there. We agree with you there,
Or
Jess.
pick up a bit of clobber and F&F while you're there,
Is that
Jess.
an ick you have? Guys not paying the bill?
No, I wouldn't mind. Like if I was out on a date and single, which I'm not, I wouldn't mind if I said I was going to get it. But if someone was like main, as we say down the country, if they've like one arm as long as the other and kind of like
doesn't even go for the wallet.
They'd be skipping rounds and kind of like.
It's hard now because everything's
counting
like on
the
your
pennies.
phone, so you have to pretend you're going for your wallet, but it's basically your phone.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a good look. When
No,
a guy
the
doesn't
stingy
pay.
is a horrible quality, like
Especially if they're wearing fake designer gear, like Jess was saying. So Andre, then we've got 21. He's the one from Dudley, business owner. Dudley. He said
he speaks a lot of languages.
he promised to teach his fellow Islanders a thing or two. Is that in regards to his language?
Portuguese, Spanish, and a little bit of Creole. Is that a Caribbean
I think so.
language? Yeah.
He said he falls in love too quickly. When I look at beautiful ladies before I've said hello to them, I've already fallen in love. I'm already planning the wedding.
Oh, he's going to be hopping from one girl to another.
I think he could like a bit of Catherine now too. I have a feeling that he might be. I think Catherine might be very popular. Just from looking through so far, she's a very strong personality. That's everybody that we're talking. Oh,
Rushi, the first girl, she's 24, beautician. She looks like a pocket rocket. So I'd say she'll be the fun kind of out there girl.
I'm going to say this now, she's not going to last past a week because she says, I'm single and looking for love. It's the perfect opportunity for me to find someone. No, it's not.
She's in her eye.
And then she said, I'm a relationship kind of girl, but so far it's not worked out. I'm really hoping it will work out in the villa. Why are you going on Love Island?
She'll always be pussing and balling now over the lads.
She won't last a week, but they'll all fancy her, they'll love her, but she'll
come on too strong.
Yeah, she's going to be like Amy Hart style.
Stage 5 clinger. Yeah, she'll be another Amy Hart.
Stage 5 clinger. Now what it's so interesting to me is that as the show goes live and we start seeing the couples now this week, there's going to be all these side bitches waiting in the other villa, waiting to come on as bombshells, and they are watching the show, right? They get to watch it and to see what happens.
Oh yeah.
So I'm interested to see how soon. I always think we can tell how the show's going when more bombshells are just bang bang bang. They're dropping them every second day. So if I was in that hotel waiting, I'd be like, come on, get me
She'd be like
there.
at the start of the Olympics at the start.
Yeah, he was like ready to go. And apparently those walk-ins where they walk into the villa and it's slow-mo, anyone that I've chatted to that's been a bombshell, they were like, it takes so long to shoot that. They're like, walk slowly, walk this. Everyone in the villa, they kind of know someone's coming because they're not allowed to go to the
They
front
can hear
of
the
the
clip
door.
clopping of the heels out in the...
My favourite bombshells are when they just walk in back from a task and they're like, hi boys.
Yeah.
They're just sitting there. You're like,
on a lilo in the pool.
yeah, just sitting there. So yeah, that's the contestants this year. What are your predictions before we close up? Like, how do you think, this is the first week now, how do you think it's going to go?
I think this week will be good enough. I think, but through looking at these, they've kind of gone back to basics with the contestants. There seem to be kind of like, seem to be too many Egypts there or anything, and you'll have a few strong characters. I think Catherine will hit the ground running. I think she'll be one of the main gals from the get-go, and it'll just depend who she's paired up with from the start or who she develops a relationship.
I think Molly could be a bit of a starter as well. I think she might come in a bit fiery.
Yeah, she'll come in hot.
She's there to get famous, I think. So she'll be big, I think, a big personality.
So you think that her and Catherine might clash?
Yeah,
fingers crossed.
Yeah, look, we're like hoping for a brawl.
But I think this season is going to be a really good one, because I think they'll have learned mistakes from whatever viewers didn't like about the Winter Love Island. I think they might change things up a little bit.
Yes.
So I think we'll go a bit more back to basics with this one.
And we might get another bombshell this season.
We need
like a previous OG.
Yeah, or we need another Irish person to go in at least. Like,
yeah,
you know,
definitely.
Do you know, because the year where we had 3, we were blessed. But no, I think it's going to be a really good one. I'm looking forward to doing these weekly podcasts.
Yes.
Like, you know, pure deep dive into it. I think we've some really exciting guests lined up, which we're going to keep it under wraps now.
For now. But some celebs, some VIPs, some influencers that are all huge fans of the show.
Which is important, because like, I'm fanatic, so are you, and anyone coming on are going to be like that as well. It's not going to be about them, it's just going to be getting their thoughts on the show and really kind of going in. Like, we might as well get our psychology degrees now, because we're really
get the PhD.
PhD on Love Island and run the course. Goss course.
A Goss course. Sign up now. I actually want to run that. Right, well, that's it for us for this week's episode. That's the end of me. I'm gone for the rest of the season. I'm going to leave it all to you in your good hands. Big thank you to Tesco F&F for sponsoring this season. I'm so excited to listen to all the episodes and see how we're going to deep dive, and for all the guests to give their 2 cents and everything too. So yeah, enjoy the season, and thanks so much hosting the show.
Make sure to listen. Goss Island is brought to you by F&F, Fashion at Tesco. F&F at Tesco is your one-stop shop this summer season, with versatile pieces and wardrobe essentials to dress the whole family for a day out, a day at the beach, or a barbecue in the back garden.